Well, good morning. And here we are with another interview from Empathy in Action, where we're talking about role models and leaders, individuals within our community who are providing services and how those services have changed, how they're being affected by the pandemic. I feel that we can really learn from people who are put in situations that have to adjust to this, have to adjust for a staff, have to adjust for a business, have to adjust for a board of directors, and what everybody's doing. So this morning we have Lori Schakow. She is Executive Director of Childcare Solutions here in Syracuse. So in order to learn about what Childcare Solutions does, please share with us, what a typical day maybe was for you prior to the pandemic and what services you were providing then. And welcome.
Sure. Well, thank you. Good morning, Kristen. So Childcare Solutions is a resource and referral agency. Our mission is building excellence in the early care and learning system while advancing equal access for all children in our community. And our vision is that every child is cared for in a high quality, safe, and nurturing environment that cultivates healthy development, early learning, and joy. Normally, one of our major functions is to assist families that are looking for childcare to connect with the resources in our community that would best meet their family's needs. So a parent would connect with us either in person, over the phone, via email. We would ask a lot of questions about what they're looking for, because as parents, they're the best judge of the quality or the facility of care that their children would need. And then we would send a list of all of the programs that are available in their community that would meet their particular family's needs. In addition to that, we support the child care programs by providing technical assistance and training. We assist individuals that are interested in opening a daycare business to open that business in their home and provide the supports around that. We offer the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is a reimbursement program similar to the school lunches, intended to support child care providers in providing healthy snacks and meals to their children, to the children in their care, particularly those low-income children that might not have other opportunities for that. Again, supports for child care providers. Our day, as you can imagine, has changed pretty significantly. So as you can imagine, for a family, it's a scary proposition to find childcare for your child in the first place. You want to make sure that you're finding high quality and an environment where your child is going to be safe and developing appropriately, and then also happy. In the age of the coronavirus, that proposition is even scarier. And so the calls that we're getting from parents, you can just hear the fear in their voices and the frustration. One of the wonderful things that has happened is our Onondaga County executive has really stepped up and recognized the importance of childcare in the community and the need for that for those first responders and essential employees. Without childcare, they can't do their jobs. And so I view childcare, as, and the community does as well, as another first responder, as an essential function. And so he's offering free childcare for those essential workers. What parents need to understand is that doesn't mean that the childcare programs themselves, which are all independent businesses, are offering the free care. It's free because Onondaga County is paying for it. And so when they place calls to us, they're often assuming that we're just going to assign their child to a daycare program and there's no cost involved, and that's the end of the story. And I recognize that their time is of the essence right now. They're frantically trying to, do their jobs, take care of their children who are out of school or are now in a different needing a different daycare center, whatever. But they would never, in normal circumstances, expect us to assign them to a setting. Again, they are the best judge of where their children should be in care. So, they're somewhat frustrated, and then also frustrated because they need to apply for the funding to pay for the care. And so we're getting a lot of frustrated calls from parents in that respect.
Yeah.
in terms of empathy, we just are really encouraging staff to recognize that these parents are terrified. They're all essential employees, or all those parents that are out there on the front lines, either in healthcare or in the grocery stores, or even collecting trash, but they're, interacting with the public. And they know that they themselves are keeping safe and keeping their family safe, but they don't know how safe the other parents of the other children in care are being. And so, parents are concerned about putting their kids in care. And it's also, anytime there's a change, it's disconcerting to the children. And, under these very scary circumstances, it's even more so. So we're reminding staff on a regular basis, when parents are calling frustrated or angry, it's really not directed at the staff person. It's they want assurance that their child is going to be safe no matter where they put them.
Right.
In terms of daycare centers, we're really, our training, and we used to train on a vast array of topics, including child development and, programming ideas and things like that. Most of the training that we are offering these days is really around health and safety and hygiene. So, what I would like the public to recognize is that daycare programs had very rigorous health and safety plans in place already, even prior to COVID-19. They constantly have to keep children safe and protected from infection. So they, are regularly disinfecting. They always do health checks prior to the children entering. They have policies where sick children can't attend care, and those were all in place prior to COVID-19. They've really doubled down on those kinds of policies and procedures as a result of COVID-19. They're keeping their group sizes smaller. They're doing more intensive daily health checks. They are disinfecting far more frequently, making sure that every toy is disinfected before it transfers from one child to another child. So, really doing everything that they can to keep the children safe, because quite frankly, they want to keep themselves and their own families safe as well. So,
and that's what I'm thinking too, is that there's so many different facets to it. And
yes,
even though a daycare provider has been doing all of these things and has a basic understanding of how to keep infection out, they need to worry too, because if someone isn't practicing as they should before they come into the home, that could not only affect their home, but it's affecting the people, the children and the people who are coming in for their services. And then it could totally affect their jobs.
exactly.
So there's a stress level. And I think we understand the stress level of the parents who are taking their children and putting them into someone else's home, assuming that that the home is taken care of, but that also any other child coming in
Yes,
is going through the same procedure. I mean, there has to be so much fear and stress involved in that. And and I understand, it's the same thing with everyone, and kind of what we were talking about earlier is that everyone is coming at this from a different angle and a different level of fear, concern, and stress. And if we can try to remember that
yes.
as we're listening to someone speak, or before we pick up the phone, or, before we react to something, that can make a huge difference.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The other stress, of course, in addition to just the healthcare fear, is a same stress that other people are experiencing in the community, as these are small businesses. And so for many of the families where they have been ordered to work from home or have been laid off or whatever, they've pulled their children out of care. And so some families are still paying to maintain the slot when the program, when they're able to reattend, but other families are not. And so there's a financial strain on the childcare providers as small businesses. They anticipated, with the call for first responders and the free care available to essential employees, that there would be this mad rush of individuals looking for additional childcare. And so many of those programs have a lot of slots available because some families have pulled out, and many of the first responders are not using the larger daycare centers. And so the centers are feeling like, so where, you said there was all this need, why am I not getting phone calls, and how am I going to, keep my own staff employed? And so there's the financial aspect of that too. And then for those families like that, where they had a child in care in one program. That program closed, but they're still expected to pay to maintain that slot. And now they have to go to another program. And so the county, if they're an essential employee, will pay for that, but it's taking a little bit of time for that money to flow. And so, and they're concerned, so what if the free care falls apart and I end up with this huge bill afterwards? And so we have to do a lot of assuring parents that that's not going to happen too, that the county, is good at their word, that they're going to provide the free care and the funding will flow, both on the parent end and on the provider end, because they're both financially struggling.
Yeah, and I have to imagine, since this hit so quickly, I mean, I know, it was Monday morning that I went into the office and knew a decision had to be made as to were we closing the museum, and within 3 hours the museum was closed. So with that happening to the first responders, if you imagine that in the same quick short amount of time, they had to make a decision right away where the kids were going to be and what was going to happen.
Sure.
And if that was decided upon, now it's hard to change.
Yes.
Because now so much time has gone by, they're in a safe place. Or hopefully, I know some people aren't going home,
right.
or they've been at their relatives for, grandparents or whatever through the entire. So why change it now? So that, it's day by day, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And sadly, we've had fortunately not many instances of this, but where, a family, when the virus first hit and everything started closing down, the schools were closing, the daycare program closed, so they had to find a new provider. And then, a month or a couple of weeks in, that new provider decided now they are closing too. And we know that is absolutely not best practice for children. You want to have continuity of care and have them in familiar surroundings with familiar adults that are, and particularly during this very scary time, they need that nurturing, consistent nurturing. And so that's, a real unfortunate circumstance. And so, I can imagine the frustration for that family or for those families that have to now find yet another provider.
Yeah. Well, I hope giving you this venue to get the information out, we can share it more and make sure that people understand about the money that's available, about the reimbursement, and I'll put a link for that and information on that along with obviously your website. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Just a reminder to the families and even the daycare providers about the free care that, because as you mentioned, things have changed so rapidly, a lot of the, like the applications have not changed. So it's still going to have the old economic guidelines on it about who is eligible for care. Families should just ignore that. If they are an essential employee, regardless of their income level, they need to complete the application and submit it. And part of the reason that we need to do that, obviously, is the county government has to be accountable for how they're spending their dollars. And they want to use as much of the federal Child Care and Development Block Grant money as possible. So any family that is at or below 85% of the state median income, we can use federal dollars to pay for their care. Anybody over that, the county will be using local dollars, but they will still pay for care. So child care providers and parents should know that that's coming. There's some glitches in the system. We're working those out, and regardless, that they should apply and participate in the care.
Absolutely.
What we don't want to see happen is for those children that have been in care and now the parents are concerned about payment, and so they switch them to care with an elderly relative, putting that person in an unsafe situation. So yes, remembering that the child care programs are using very rigorous infection control procedures to keep your children safe. The money will flow, and we will come out of this in the end, I hope, stronger and with a better recognition of the value of child care providers.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is one of the many things we can take away. And, the importance of the people that we haven't really been giving importance to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Uh,
my final word, I guess, would be to my own staff that, a recognition that they have fears as well. We are taking all of the necessary precautions, having as many employees work from home as possible. We never have more than 10 people within our very large office space anyhow, so we're maintaining that 6 feet distance and, doing a lot of disinfecting and those kinds of things. But I recognize people's fears. It's frustrating to try to work from home. Technology isn't always as cooperative as we would like. And so I guess, to staff, just to continue doing the best that we can to provide the services to support these families and childcare providers that are really keeping our community afloat right now.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you're doing and your staff. And take care. And I'm with you on the hope that we're all going to come out better and stronger. So,
Thank you. And thank you for this project too. This is a wonderful initiative. I appreciate it.
oh, thank you.
Have
I'll
a
talk
nice
to you
day.
soon. Okay. Bye bye.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye-bye.